In the American scene, there is often a first family of the community, so-called because of its outstanding contributions to civic works, to politics, to the professions, or to industry. Here is the head of such a family, founder of a highly respected manufacturing company. His very manner speaks of years of success in business and success in living. Less active and with more time for leisure now than in other days, he still commands the power of leadership, and his material possessions reflect the position he holds in life. His house, for example, was designed by a famous architect because he wanted and could afford the best. He wanted and could afford the finest pieces of furniture, like this lovely Elizabethan buffet, or this beautiful tapestry. You know that here again, of paramount importance, were luxury, beauty, and comfort. He chose the best. Yes, all of these things tell us something about this man and his family. Here is his eldest son, first to arrive at a birthday gathering for the head of the family. The power of leadership belongs to the son, too, in his position as president of the company which was founded by his father. We have suggested that material possessions reflect the personality of their owners. And that is certainly true of the car this man owns, a Chrysler New Yorker Deluxe. Its lines are straight to the point, purposeful, forceful. It's the right Chrysler for the man who can afford the very best, but likes to occupy the driver's seat himself. Let's look further at this New Yorker Deluxe. A glance at the front end tells us that it is massive, wide, with gleaming horizontal lines. The center grill bar is straight and true, extending out to the fenders. As does each component part, it makes its contribution to a harmonious unity of design. The parking lights, fitted snugly below, seem to accentuate the horizontal sweep of the center grill bar. The massive wraparound front bumper, with its two rugged guards, has a tough, businesslike look of protectiveness about it. The Chrysler nameplate, in raised gold letters, tells us that here is a proud member of an aristocratic family. If there should be any doubt as to which member, the hood medallion, with its distinctive letter C, proclaims it to be the New Yorker Deluxe. Moving around the car now, you'll notice that the bezel or eyebrow over the headlights gives the front end a new look of refinement. Notice, too, that the parking lights can be seen from the side. There's a feeling of motion in the geometric star of gold which ornaments the gleaming chrome wheel covers. And there's a look of swiftness in the fender molding, tapering back to just about midpoint in the sleek length of this car. There's swift motion, too, in the speed lines of the new front fender shield, which blends gracefully into the sill molding. Because of its raised head, the sill molding, as you see, captures more sparkling light. At this point, the rear fender stone shield sweeps up through a speed line to meet the rear fender molding, which forms a slim, tapering line back to the rear end of the fender. And here again we see a nameplate in letters of gold, as befits one of the finest of fine cars. The taillights, too, can be seen from both side and rear. And notice the more finished appearance the new taillight assembly gives the car. Even the chromed gas cap adds to the new look of the rear end. The new contoured wraparound rear bumper is just as tough and rugged as it looks. Low to the right on the trunk sill, letters of gold script spell out the proud name of Chrysler. Backing up a bit now, you'll see that all the rear deck features contribute to the overall look of compactness and unity of design. And here's the new one-piece wraparound window. It's trimmer than ever in appearance, and it permits better vision, too. Yes, this is the beautiful New Yorker Deluxe for 1954, an illustrious member of America's first family of fine cars. Small wonder that from a styling point of view, it has such appeal for men and women of discerning taste and good judgment. But the exterior beauty of this classic style leader is only half the story. A new brushed metal door tread gives us our first hint of an all-new interior. Open the door wide, and at a glance, you know that here is unparalleled luxury. And talk about harmony of color. You might call this a rhapsody in blue.
There's deep, rich carpeting, not only on the floor, but in the kick pad of the door and scuff pad of the seat.
The seat itself is entirely covered with broadcloth of the finest quality in light and dark blue tones. And this two-tone harmony is carried into the door panels. We've used the same fine broadcloth there, too. Note especially the luxurious pleating of the material in the upper door panel. As you see, the window moldings are dark blue to match. Notice, too, the ultra-modern look of the new armrest. It literally flows right out of the door panel. This luxurious styling treatment is repeated in the back of the front seat, and the base of the seat is encased in dark blue vinyl. Up front, there's a new dash panel with twin safety crash pads. Their vinyl covering and the panel moldings match our dark blue broadcloth. As you see, the instruments and knobs are more conveniently located. And for greater safety, the knobs are recessed in the panel. This is typical of Chrysler's styling with a purpose. Also new are the flasher lights, which replace gauges to indicate battery amperage and oil pressure. Notice the subdued, rich look of this brushed metal insert. You'll see other touches of this brushed metal throughout the instrument panel. Now, while the gardener drives this beautiful New Yorker Deluxe around to the garage behind the house, let's turn the record and meet some other members of our two first families. Friends of this first family of the community are arriving. As you'll see, each has come to this gathering in luxury and style. This man, driving a custom Imperial Newport, is a vice president and general attorney for the company. But he's also an intimate and respected friend of the family. His assistant, a young grandson in our first family, drives a Windsor Deluxe four-door sedan. It speaks well for his good judgment and is a symbol of the power to command which will someday be his. And here's another son who happens to be sales manager. His New Yorker Deluxe convertible suggests that he has imagination, a very desirable quality in a man who must lead and inspire a sales force. And finally, there's the good and charming lady whose triple role is that of wife, mother, and grandmother in this first family of the community. She and her husband have at their disposal all of the luxurious comfort and superlative refinements that a custom Imperial sedan is so well able to provide. They chose the best. And now, as these fine people gather in the home of the head of their family to do him honor, let's look again at these members of America's first family of fine cars. They've all been garaged by now, but with a bit of film magic, we'll bring them back one by one. First, here's the custom Imperial Newport by Chrysler. Next, the Chrysler Windsor Deluxe four-door sedan. And here's the Chrysler New Yorker Deluxe Convertible. And finally, the Custom Imperial Sedan by Chrysler. Yes, these are representative members of America's first family of fine cars. They're rich-looking, luxurious, and beautiful. And yet there's a simplicity of line about them that has nothing to do with ostentation, but which has everything to do with integrity, fine quality, and discriminating good taste. They symbolize the prestige of their owners. It is such people as these that you will meet and talk with in the coming year. For it is America's first families, and those who are most like them, who will most truly appreciate America's first family of fine cars for 1954.
Why don't you act grown up? Hey, hold on there. Stop it. You both ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Why don't you act like grown-ups? And you too. Quiet. All of you. Stop where you are. There, that's better. Of course, if you'd rather not listen, go ahead. Just step on the gas. Take off. You can't go forward. So why not go back for a moment? Let's see how you got into this mess in the first place. Come on, all of you, back. I mean all the way back. If we want to get to the bottom of things, we've got to go back to the beginning. Of course, there were no traffic problems, but in time, there were plenty of others. Clearing forests, building the first houses near a crossroad, then the church and the mill. These were gradually connected by footpaths and horse trails. As the settlement grew into a village, paths became roads for wagons and carriages. As commerce and industry thrived, the people sought out easier and faster ways of moving about. But as the city continued to, transportation was stirring the imagination of the daring few who could afford it. But the automobile just got better and better. Pretty soon it wasn't just luxury or a convenience. It became part of the American standard of living. Try to imagine what this country would be like without automobiles. It would be impossible to live in many parts of the country without them. For business, or for travel, for recreation, or vacation. There's nothing like a car. $50 million Americans can't be wrong. But millions of cars take up a lot of room. Especially when too many of them are in the same place at the same time. Traffic congestion gets worse and worse. Because more and more while we go about our daily work. Take this modern office building. If all the people in the building drove their cars to work, the parking area required would be greater than the floor space of the building itself. City planners and traffic engineers have been trying valiantly to make more space available for traffic handling. But the increasing number of cars requires wider streets and more off-street parking lots. In many cases, valuable land must be sacrificed to the traffic monster. But these changes only bring more cars into already overcrowded downtown streets, and the traffic situation becomes more acute and aggravating than it ever was before. We widen our streets and invite more traffic. More freeways, more cars. And so the cycle goes. For all the time and money spent, what will it bring us in the city? Speed? Convenience? Safety? Pleasure? We've been trying to move traffic when the basic intent is to move people. It's the objective in every community, to move people. To factories and offices, to church, to schools, to a playground, and home again. This growing number of people must by some practical means into the area where they work, shop, and play. Most cars carry only 1 or 2 people. Within this block, 50 people in 40 cars. No wonder we have traffic congestion. Now, here's a practical approach. Public transit. Let's see how it helps solve our problem. A motor bus can carry as many people as all the cars that can be jammed into a city block. One trolley coach provides enough transportation per trip to eliminate the need for as many as 50 parking spaces in a downtown area. A modern streetcar, with its large carrying capacity, handles enough traffic each day to remove hundreds of cars from heavily congested downtown areas. A 4-track system of this type can carry 100,000 people per hour in each direction. To do the same job with automobiles, would require more than 100 lanes of highway over a half-mile wide and costing many times more than the entire rapid transit system. 50 lanes of carrying capacity can be added to a freeway by building a 2-track rapid transit line down the center. Let's take a closer look at our transit system. So far as most of us are concerned, public transit is dropping a token into a fare box. These tokens all add up to one thing: a faster, safer, more dependable ride for you. Where do you live? Where do you want to go? What time? How many of you at a time? These questions have all been studied by your transit company. Your arrival at work must be timed. Vehicles must be made available for rush period. You are able to transfer to other points, wherever The train operator must carefully study each type of vehicle and use it where it will best serve you, whether you live in the suburbs, on the main thoroughfares, or trains running over private right-of-ways prove to be the most practical way to handle large numbers of people in the large cities. Your daily travels are made possible by trained, skilled people who ensure high standards of performance. High standards for equipment, too, must be upheld. Regular inspections and maintenance go on daily because the safety and convenience of thousands of people are concerned. On rapid transit lines, block signals control the safe movement of many trains. The location and movements of each train are controlled through the dispatcher's board. All these devices are placed in the hands of competent, alert operators to serve you, the passenger, with safe, dependable vehicles. Public transit in action, a logical solution to traffic congestion. We've come a long way in the last 50 years, and we pride ourselves on our accomplishments. Some car, some pickup. Man, this is really living. It was bound to happen. We've been trying to move traffic when the basic intent is to move people. We must move people or our cities will be strangled. To move people, cities must take drastic action. Establish a system of arterial and local streets. Control traffic lighting that speeds the flow to work and enforce driving and parking restrictions in heavily traveled streets. ban parking on main streets during rush hours, restrict turns at busy intersections, and some cities may have to reserve streets, or at least traffic lanes, for transit vehicles alone. Because one person in one car can delay hundreds of people in the transit system. Merchants may have to accept deliveries at off, and you must give the transit system a fair rate and tax legislation. Then, with new laws enforced, surface transit can give service of rapid transit. It will be even more convenient and practical to park your car outside the downtown area. On the outskirts, there is more, and your transit system will then get you to work and in half the time. You will be 6 times more dangerous than the transit ride. You will be able to ride to the corner near insurance rates will be reduced. Valuable property will be saved for business and industry. And because of reduced congestion, speed the flow of the majority who already ride the... If you're sick of fighting traffic now, what do you think it might be? What do you want? Your town strangled by traffic congestion? Continual destruction of valuable property? Or is your town going places? Building a sound urban transit system that will speed the travel of people today for city grow tomorrow. Stop thinking in terms of moving vehicles, people, and your town will be going places.